You're watching E.T.N, where we don't do news, we just talk entertainment. Share and subscribe.
Hey guys, welcome to Entertainment Talk Nation. This is Rob. This video, we're going to talk some Walking Dead. And after Sunday's episode regarding the end of the Hunters, as we saw them brutally killed by Rick and Sasha, Michonne, as well as Abraham, and the unfortunate death of Bob, probably the biggest deal of the episode outside of all that was the end. Daryl returning with we don't know who. After watching the episode initially, a lot of times I watch the episode and I go straight and I do my review. Then I'll watch the episode about 2 or 3 more times throughout the week. And because of all the other content I don't do a lot of speculation videos simply because I don't have time. But this one I wanted to do because, I did read the comics and a lot of stuff I don't remember, a lot of stuff I do remember. And it hit me last night that one person, and all right, real quick before I get into this, if you don't want to know, there will be spoilers from the comics, so if you don't want to know about them, so you might want to take off. So, but anyway, one thing I realized in the comic was that at this point in the comic, Morgan's already been with them. Morgan's already been with the group. And we did see him earlier this season, and it kind of makes me wonder if Morgan is with Daryl. Now, he doesn't know Daryl, he doesn't know Carol, he doesn't know Beth, he doesn't know anyone outside of Rick. He doesn't even know Carl. He knows of Carl. Well, actually, no, he met him in Clear. Oh, he finally had met him in Clear, that's correct. But outside of Michonne and Carl, he really doesn't know anyone else in the group. Now, I'm not saying it's him. It would make some sense. I mean, at this point, where is Morgan? Has he caught up to them? Somebody pointed out to me that it wouldn't be Carol because of how Daryl spoke to the person, and after watching the episode I could agree with that. I didn't really catch it before because I was so paying attention to the fact that he was there and I was waiting for someone. I noticed that he was alone. Really wasn't paying attention to how he spoke, but now looking back at it, yeah, he did speak, I don't want to say aggressively, but he didn't speak calmly. So it makes me wonder if the person he's just with for the sake of maybe getting back to the group. Maybe it is Morgan, and Morgan said, look, I know Rick. Maybe somehow they got into a conversation about Rick, perhaps inquiring about each other's camps. Who knows? There's some speculation that it could be, maybe Beth. I thought maybe perhaps it would be Carol nurturing Beth along. Maybe Beth was injured, and Carol's kind of like, has her arm around her neck and is kind of helping her along while Daryl leads. But as I said, with Daryl's voice being a little bit different, it probably isn't either one of them. So now the question remains, what's become of Carol and Beth? Well, I guess the first question people would ask is, are they dead? Well, no. I don't think the show would give Carol a send-off like that, and especially considering how popular she is now. And Beth, even though she's not my favorite character, I'm not saying I hate her, but, even though she's not my favorite character and traditionally she's not as popular as some of the others, she's become more popular through her absence. So now, even if they wanted to kill her off, I don't think she'd get that kind of send-off either. After looking at the coming attractions again, it's evident that I think she's retained her memory, so I don't think that's an issue. That was a theory I had shortly after watching the episode, but after, again, watching the trailer this morning and then watching the episode again, that's probably not the case. It's just something, it's so weird because it's such a blatant end without showing you anything that it's about Beth, but at the same time you don't really know what's going on right now. How long was Daryl really gone? You think about it, maybe a day, 2 days? So how much has really happened in a span of 24 hours? Was Carol captured and did Daryl return to get help? Did he, and that's the thing, we just don't know. There's definitely room for them to struggle with another group. And it could very well be that this new group is just another short arc leading to the midseason, but it's really hard to tell. So here's what I think. After watching the episode a couple more times, after taking into consideration his tone of voice, and then remembering back to the comics, somehow, some way, I just think it's Morgan. I think it's Morgan, and it would make sense for Michonne to be the first to be, because Michonne knows who Morgan is. She doesn't know him personally. She questions him, but she knows Rick knows him, so it would kind of make sense for Michonne to be the one to say, oh, wow, wait a minute, I've seen this guy before. Yeah, Rick knows him. Let's take him to the church. Maybe the group that took Beth, or maybe Morgan was part of that group. And maybe, when maybe Beth mentioned Rick to Morgan at some point, and maybe somehow the word of mouth got out when Daryl got there. I mean, who knows? It's so hard to tell, really. But yeah, I'm going to guess it's either Morgan or somebody that we just don't even know. It'll be weird. I think Morgan's a safe bet right now. And furthermore, it'll be interesting because when we saw Morgan at the end of the first episode, he looked very different. He looked like he was more put together. He's more mentally stable. When you saw him in Clear, he had that face like he was just paranoid. He looked worried. He looked scared all the time. Where in that episode, he looked very focused. He looked like he had a purpose. And I think this is the perfect time to bring him in because Rick just brutally killed people just now. And while it's justified, because obviously these people have killed some of his people already, Bob, of course, and because of how horrific they are, Rick, after his experience with the governor, has already learned his lesson. And even now with Terminus, he's learned his lesson that you can't let these people linger. They're just going to come back to you. They're going to come back and try and bite you in the ass. So while it was a brutal death scene, while it was brutal that what they did, I can't really blame them. But it put Rick's humanity into question. It put his humanity into question in front of the eyes of certain people in the group. And I think bringing in Morgan now would kind of really be a twist, because now Morgan might be the one to look at Rick and say, hey, look, you told me that, there's a way back. You can still come back. And I don't really think Rick has that much to come back from. I think he's going to be brutal when he has to be. I don't think he's going to be full-blown brutal, but I think he's been brutal enough that it might have some of his group just kind of question him, look at him differently, maybe even want to leave. I really do think that part of the reason Glenn left was because of what happened, how he saw Rick and what Rick did. He may not have vocalized it, and it may not seem that obvious, but he left too easily, in my opinion. And he seemed at first reluctant to go with Abraham to Washington, where now after seeing what Rick did, he was a little bit more, okay, yeah, let's do this. So I really do think it might be Morgan. I think Morgan's going to come in at a good time to kind of bring Rick back a little bit. Just say, hey, look, I don't blame you for doing what you did. Or, not necessarily tell him that because he's not going to know what's going on. But I think he'll get wind of it and he'll remind Rick, hey, look, while there's people out there we need to worry about, not everybody's going to be this way. And we need to be, we're seasoned, we're schooled. We should be able to tell by now who are the people you can trust and who are the people you can't. At least enough to give someone the benefit of the doubt. Father Gabriel, I think they unfairly mistrusted him. Despite his history and despite his guilt, he really has been open to them. I mean, he let them in his church. From Father Gabriel's perspective, Father Gabriel could have gotten screwed over if they had turned around and killed him. Because really, outside of what he did with the congregation, and that was horrible, as far as how he's been towards Rick's group, he hasn't done anything to make them question whether or not he's trustworthy, because he wasn't part of the cannibals. He wasn't part of anything evil at that point. He did something that, yes, he's guilty, that he feels guilt for, but then again, everybody's done something horrible. So, I think that's a prime example of where Rick's group's at right now. And I think part of the struggle this season is going to be finding that middle ground of savagery and brutality versus, trust maybe, and at least a little bit of tolerance and to get to know people and stuff like that. And maybe that's something that'll happen down the line as the season progresses. But if it's not Morgan, it's got to be somebody else. But I'm going to put my money that it's Morgan. I'm going to think that he's coming in at the right time. In the comics, he was with the group at this point. He had already been with them for a while, actually. But, this was a point that Morgan was in the show, in the book. And he had, like I said, he had been with them for a while in the book already. But it would be a good time to bring him back. And Carol and Beth, I don't know. This is something weird going on there. We'll have to stick around and find out. But anyway, guys, that's it for this video. So what do you think? Do you think it's Morgan? Do you think it's Carol? Do you think it's Beth? Do you think it's all three of them? What if it's all three and they all work together to get out of that place, and then we're going to hear their story? They're going to go back in time and a little bit and tell us what's going on. But who knows? It's hard to tell. But I'm going to put my money on Morgan. But anyway, guys, that's it for this video. This is Rob signing off for E.T.N, where we don't do news, we just talk entertainment. Take it easy.
Thank you for watching E.T.N. Don't forget to comment, share, and subscribe. Join the Nation's Facebook page to meet other subscribers or visit E.T.N's Facebook page and Twitter page. Links for all are in the description.